Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So here we're actually going to do the Maths Paper 2 Reasoning for the 2018 National SATS. Well, as always, I'm going to do a complete walkthrough and breakdown of the whole paper. So, without further ado, let's jump in. Now, a few notes to make as always. Remember, you only got 40 minutes to do this test and all answers have to be in the black box over here. Usually, you should always show you're working because you could always grab a mark or even two. Sometimes it's a 3-mark question. But otherwise, let's move on to the next one. So, number 1, what do we have here? So we have, so here is a shape on a grid. Complete the design so that it is symmetrical about the mirror line. Okay, this is easy. And again, we have to use a ruler here. So all we should really do is just pretty much start from here and just, extend the line across. So we're going to have something like 3 across here. And then we just go 1 back here. So just try and match up these lines. What I do, I always count the distance from here to here. And then go, how many? So we're going to go 3 down. So start from here and go 3 down. And then it's going inwards from here. So I just connect the line over here. And that's it. Again, make sure you use a ruler, guys. Always helpful. Now, number 2. So Stefan completes this calculation. Okay, so we've got 95 take away 67 is 28. So write an addition calculation he could use to check his answer. Now, all this really means that we just have to use pretty much the same statement again, but other way around. So to get a final answer, when you're adding 2 numbers, you must always get a number big in the end. So the biggest number is 95, so we just put 95 down there. And now these boxes could be in any order. We could put, say, 28 here and 67, or 67 and 28. I'm always going to go to do the bigger first, because I like to put the bigger number on top. So yeah, that's really it. Okay, question 3, guys. So this one I already cropped out to another page because we actually need to use a ruler for this one. So let's have a look. So on the line below, mark the point that is 6.7 centimeters from A. So over here. So what I did here and what I recommend you guys to do is to always get a nice ruler which says centimeters in it. So make sure it says cm. Okay. And then I want you to put the value of 0A at A. So this is basically going to be the starting point. And now we have to make sure that the ruler is perfectly in line with this. The best thing to do is always put the ruler on the line so you can actually see how far it goes. And then we just find where 6.7 is. So 6.7 is going to be basically between 6 and 7. And you just count up these little lines. So in the middle is of course 6.5, and then next one will be 0.6 and then 0.7. So 6.7 should be about here. That's it. All done. Now let's move on to the next one. So yeah, a few things I want to say about question 3 again is that sometimes they will actually allow you if you have a small error. So if you measured accidentally 6.6 or probably 6.8, if you're really close to 6.7, you'll still get the full mark. So don't worry too much. Just try and be as accurate as possible and make sure the intention is there. Anyway, guys, let's look at 4. Ooh, fractions. I love this. So these diagrams show 3 equivalent fractions. So it just looks to me that we got 3 quarters across, just looking head on. Now what we want to do here is firstly count how many shaded. So we got 1, 2, 3 shaded out of 4. So that's why we got 3 quarters here. Next one, we're going to have how many shaded? We got exactly 3, 6, 9 shaded, which is here, over 10, 11, 12. And the next one, well, how many do we have? So we got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 shaded. And of course, it's out of, well, 24, 21, 24. Yep. So just count the blocks. Easy, easy. This is literally easy marks. Okay, number 5. Let's check this out. So here are the temperatures in 4 cities at midnight and at midday. Okay. So for example, at Paris, at midnight, the temperature was -4 degrees, which is pretty cold. But at midday, 12 hours later, it was -2. So it went up by 2 degrees. But if you're in a city like Oslo, it's really cold, and it's not that much different. It's warmer a bit, but not much difference. But Rome is of course a lot warmer. Now let's check our next one. At midnight, so we're looking at the midnight values. How many degrees colder was Paris than Rome? So Paris was -4 and Rome was 3. So what I do is draw a number line. So I got -4 on the negative side and +3, because remember this is a positive value, so this is a +3. We just count the difference. What I do is always call this one 0. So I would say it takes exactly 4 degrees to get to 0 and another 3 degrees to get to positive 3. So the total distance, the total change is 7. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay. Now next one. Which city was 6 degrees colder at midnight than at midday? So we're looking at the difference of 6 degrees. So just looking at like carefully, this is quick maths. So I would ignore the negative sign sometimes. So we've got -4, -2, so the difference is of course 2 degrees. We've got -13 and 7, so 7 and 13 has a difference of 6. So without looking at the rest, it's definitely going to be Oslo. That's it. So always do your calculations step by step. If you got, I mean, you can always check the rest, but this is for sure has to be right. Okay, number 6. The number in the sequence decreased by the same amount each time. Okay, cool. So what's happening here? So we've got 303,604, 302,604, and so on. So it looks like the thousands are going down by 1. So 303, 302, 301, 300. So next one has to be 299,000. And of course, 604. Easy. 7. Take the two numbers that are equivalent to a quarter. Now this is straight up mental. We need to know this. We need to know all the fraction equivalents. 1/4 is the same as 25%, which is also the same as 0.25 or 25 if you think of it like that, or 25 over 100. These are the 3 figures you must know, or at least you must know these two, and then you can figure out 25 over 100 by realizing that we have 2 values after the decimal value, so it'll be over 2 zeros, over 100. Okay, so looking in the box, we're going to have 0.25 and 25 over 100. So and a quick tip here, I personally recommend you guys to learn a few other fractions. You need to know what 1/2 is, which is 50%, or 0.5. You should also know what a third is, which is 33.333, like in other words recurring, or the same thing, 0.333 recurring. Yeah, and I'll say you should also learn what a fifth is, which is 0.2, and a tenth, which is 0.1. So make sure you try and learn all of these ones, yeah? And let me just add a few notes. This is 20% and this is 10%. Anyway, let's go on to 8. Okay, alright, good old Ken. So Ken buys 3 large boxes and 2 small boxes of chocolates. Whew, this guy eats a lot. Each large box has 48 chocolates. Ooh. Each small box has 24. So here's our large and here's our small. And he's got 3 of these, so we can just say times 3 just to keep that in mind, and times 2 small boxes. How many chocolates did Ken buy all together? Wait. Okay, now what you could do is just multiply this by 3, multiply by 2, and add it up. Or you could just, actually there's another way, but I think we'll make it simple. So 2 times 24, if you do your quick maths, double 24 is 48, easy. 3 times 48, well, we can do it here, 48 times 3. So we've got 3 times 8, which is 24, carry the 2. And then 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14, so 144. And then if you add up these two values here, 144 and 48, you should get 192 chocolates. Okay, easy. Yeah, this question so far is pretty nice. Okay, number 9. Ooh, explanations, I love it. So the list below shows the years in which the Cricket World Cup was held since '92. If any of you guys like cricket, just let me know in the comment section. For me, I personally love cricket. I'm always looking at Pakistan and Sri Lanka and a few other big names out there. And yeah, you too, England, of course. Now, and India, I don't forget India and Bangladesh. So Adam says the Cricket World Cup has been held every 4 years since '92. Well, it doesn't look like it because we've got 1999, which of course isn't. It's 3 years afterwards. Adam's not correct. Explain how you know. Well, we just said. We can say that 1999 is 3 years after, what was the previous year? 1996. Yeah, something simple like that. You don't have to be too vague. Okay. Anyway, next one. And of course, to make it to complete the answer, probably to make it even more interesting, you should probably state that the sequence should be going up in 4s. Okay, if you need. That's pretty much enough proof. Okay, number 10. Oh, so just a quick recap. These symbols here, except equal sign, this symbol here means greater than none. So when an inequality has an open mouth, the value on the left should be bigger than the value on the right. Always put the value that is bigger on the open side of the mouth. Now let's have a look. So write the correct symbol in each box to make the statements correct. So times table skills required here, yeah? So I'm going to go ahead and simplify this fast. Let's leave the multiplication out for a second. You got 90 divided by 30 and 60 divided by 20. So what I do is just cancel the zeros. 9 divided by 3 is 3. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So these two are equal. Now 120 divided by 4. So I'll just do 12 divided by 4, which is 3. So put the 0 in, 30. And 16 divided by 8 is 2. So that's 20. So of course 30 is bigger. So give it with the open inequality sign, yeah? Think of it as a crocodile mouse. The bigger mouth, it wants the most valuable piece of meat, so the biggest value. Now the last two, so this is something we just have to calculate. So 11 times 12 times or 15 times 10. Well, we know 15 times 10, you just stick a 0, so it's 150. And if you're not too sure, we know that in our times table for you learn in school, the biggest one is 12 times 12, which is 144. So even if you didn't know this, which was, by the way, should be 132, this will always be less than 144. So there we go. 150 gets a bigger inequality sign. And the last one, you don't even need to calculate, because you can see that 100 is bigger than 30, 10 is bigger than 8. So of course, the right side is bigger. So it needs to be an open mouth for this side. Okay, next. All right, number 11. So here is a drawing of a 3D shape. Okay. So, so this looks like sort of like a trapezium, doesn't it? Yeah. Or trapezoid, or prism-based trapezium, something like that. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Now, complete the table. So how many faces does it have? Well, I do it like this. I always count the top half, the bases. So we've got one face here and one face in the ground. And then we have, of course, 4 other faces around it. Like here, 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 and here. So that's 6 faces. Okay. Now, how many vertices? So vertices, or the vertex, are the corners. So we need to count how many corners we have. So I'm going to use a little X to symbolize. So on the top, we know it's kind of like a square. So it's going to be, or 4-sided shape. So it'll be 4 vertices here. And on the ground, we got another 4. Because it's, again, another square or rectangle. So that actually makes a total of 8. Now the last one is the edges. Now this one is always annoying, because I always try counting and sometimes it's easy to make a mistake. Now if you think about the vertices, let's connect the vertices. So edges are the corners. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know it's 4-sided. Again, it'll be another 4 here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So far we got 4 here and 4 there. Now you should also consider the lines going downwards. So let me change the color. We also got this one, so there's another vertex edge here, another edge here, and of course going down to the base. So this one is also 4. So altogether we have 4 plus 4 plus 4, which is 12. That's it. That's pretty much everything done. Okay guys, number 12. Here we go. So here is the shape on the grid. So here's the shape. Now this shape is translated so that this point A here moves to a position of 7, 8. So an X coordinate of 7 and a Y coordinate 8. It's always in this order, X first and Y second. Okay, so before we do it, let's find 7, 8. So 7, 8 means that we move 7 across here, so around here, and then move 8 upwards. So 8 is up here. So here's 7 across, 8 up. Okay, perfect. Now, what do? So draw the shape in its new position. Okay, so if point A moves there, that means we just have to move this shape across until it appears there. So here is the new A. Okay, so if we just recreate the shape, actually it's quite easy. We can see that there's a length of 2 to the left hand side, so we can move 2 across here. Remember, use a ruler, and then go all the way down. So we can see that the height is from 5 to 0, so that's a total height of 5 squares. So we need to go 5 squares down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in other words, from 8 to 3. And then do the same on the other side, because it's parallel. It's also going 5 down. And we can see here that it goes up by 2 diagonally. So in the middle, between these two is 2 diagonally. So somewhere here. That's it. Oops. Yeah, that's it. Just make sure you use a ruler so it looks neat. I'm just doing a freehand just so we can do it quickly, yeah? And just label this 7, 8. Okay, perfect. Now, let's move on. Alright, 13. Circle the improper fraction that is equivalent to 6 and 7/8. Oof. So what we should do is just firstly just convert this to an improper fraction ourselves. To do this, there's a nice trick. All I always do is I always multiply these two numbers, so 6 times 8. And this should give us 48. And then you just add this number to the top half, 7. So 48 plus 7 will give us 55, and it's all over 8. So yep, it's this one. Alright, that was very easy. 14. Write these fractions in order, in order of size, starting with the smallest. Now, when you look at fractions which don't have the same denominator, in other words, the same bottom half, you have to make sure that all the numbers are the same on the bottom. Now, if we look at this carefully, we've got 5 and 5, so these two are okay. So clearly 3/5 is smaller than 6/5. Now, we need to also talk about 3/4. Well, if you look at the 5s and 4s, we can see that they both have a lowest common multiple of 20. And the trick here is to realize that if you can't find a number that they both go into, just multiply them against each other. So what I'll do is multiply this entire fraction by 5 and multiply both of these ones by 4. Doing so, this will give us a fraction over 20, and this is also over 20. So this means that now 6 over 5, we multiply that by 4, you're going to get 24 over 20. 3/5 multiply them 4 up and down, you get 12 over 20. And multiplying 3/4 by 5 up and down, you should get 15 over 20. That's it. Now we just look at the numbers. Since they're all over 20, it's now super easy to compare. So let's have a look. So that means 12 is obviously the smallest, so this means 3/5 is the smallest. And that means the next smallest is 15/20, which is 3/4, and then of course 6/5 must go here. Easy. Okay, 15. Now a box contains trays of melons. Oof. I mean, I'm recording this in summer, so I'm actually craving a melon right now. There are 15 melons in a tray, and there are 3 trays in a box. Okay, check this out. So 15 times 3, so altogether there should be 45 melons altogether. Okay. A supermarket sells 40 boxes of melons. Now, a box has 45 basically. How many melons does a supermarket sell? So just 40 times 45. So what I would do, a nice trick, is just times it by 4 first. So 45 times 4. To times something by 4, just double it twice. So double 45 is 90, double 90 is 180, and the stick a 0 in because it's 40, so it's 1,800. So quick recap, 45 times 40. Okay, next, let's see. So Adam wants to use a mental method to calculate 182 minus 97. All right, let's see what he's doing. So first things first, he starts from 182. Here are some methods that Adam could use. So tick the methods that are correct. So he could firstly add 3, then subtract 90. Oh, no, that does not look right, because if you add 3 and subtract 90, that's like 87. Okay, minus 87, so that's obviously false. Subtract 100 and add 3, yeah, because if you subtract 100 and plus 3, you're left with minus 97, so that's correct. If you subtract 7, then subtract 90, that's also right, because minus 7 minus 90 is minus 97. Now subtract 3, then subtract 100. Nope, you'll be left with minus 103, so that's obviously wrong as well. Okay, that's it, 2 points for that. Okay, 17. You know, this paper so far has been really easy, guys, hasn't it? I mean, let me know what you guys think of it so far, but to me, I think this is so much easier than the 2017 paper. And that's actually really good news, because that was quite hard. Okay, 17. Alright, this is a 3-mark question. So there are 28 pupils in a class. Alright, let's brace ourselves. The teacher has 8 liters of orange juice. She pours 225 milliliters of orange juice for every single pupil. Remember, there's 28. Quick note, 8 liters and 225 milliliters, this can be written as exactly 0.225 liters. Or to make life easy, if we write 8 liters as 8,000 milliliters, actually that's much easier because the numbers are much nicer to look at. Let's work in milliliters then. Now, what's the question? How much orange juice is left over? Okay, So if she's going to pour 225 milliliters for every pupil, and if there's 28, well, we need to see how many she actually pours. So it's going to be 225 times 28 pupils. And now, oh, here comes the mental maths. What do we get here? So let's just do it step by step. So we've got 8 times 5 is 40, so 0 carry the 4. And then you've got 8 times 2 is 16, plus the 4, which is 20, so it's 0 carry the 2. Now we've got 8 times 2 is 16, plus 2 is 18. So that's one bit done, so that's 8 done. So let's just cross this off, or just rub it out. Use a pencil, by the way, for this working out. I know you're going to use a pen, but just rub out the slight working out. Now we're moving to the tens. So when we move to the tens column, we have to add a compulsory 0 to represent we moved position. Now let's do it. So you got 2 times 5 is 10, so 0 carry the 1. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Now we've got 2 times 2 is 4. That's it. Now just add them up. Well, these are of course zeros. 8 plus 5 is 13, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. Okay, so that means we have that means the teacher has poured 6,300 milliliters of what's it called, orange juice. That means how much left over? Well, if there was 8 liters initially, there was originally 8,000. So 8,000 take away 6,300 or 6,300. This is mental. So 80 minus 63 is 17. So 1,700 milliliters. Done. Make sure you put the what's it called, the units, because if you write 1,700 and you accidentally put liters or ignore it, you may not get the mark. So always make sure you put the units you're using. Okay, that's it, guys. If you got this right, seriously give yourself a pat on the back. But it wasn't that hard for 3 mark, I have to admit. Okay, it's 18. So last year Jacob went to 4 concerts. Oh, lucky guy. 3 of his tickets cost £5 each. Okay, so 3 of them cost £5 each. So that means altogether this is £15. Yep, if you add them up, 5 plus 5 plus 5. The other ticket was £7. Okay, so altogether we spent 15 plus 7, so you spent £22 thus far, if you add them up. What was the mean cost of tickets? Oof. So mean, if you're not sure what it is just another word for an average. And to find the average, all you do is add up all 4 tickets, which we did, which was £22, and divide by how many tickets we have, which is 4. So we need to work out what 22 divided by 4 is. And that's easy. Firstly, I'll write as a fraction because it's easy to work with. So to divide by 4, well, just simplify the fraction. Half in this will give us 11 over 2, and half 11 is 5.5. And 5.5 in money is just 5.50. Done. Okay, next. Alright, so next one, 19. So Layla wants to estimate the answer to this calculation. Oh, God, I don't know about you guys, but I really hate mixed fractions. They're really annoying. So tick 1, tick the calculation below that is the best estimate. Okay, okay. Right, so looking at these numbers, you got 3 and 9/10. To me, if you had to round up, that actually looks a bit like a 4. So that means this first one's automatically wrong. Now next one, 2 1/8. That looks like it's so close to 2 because this is just after 2. Now 1 4/5. Now again, this one is this is very close to becoming another whole number. So this one's also close enough to 2. So you got 4 2 2. So this means it should be the third option. Done. How many questions are there anyway? I'll find, who cares? Okay, number 20. So the length of an alligator can be estimated by firstly measuring the distance from its eyes to its nose. Okay, so right here. Then multiplying that distance by 12. Alright, okay, so keep that in mind. What is the difference in the estimated lengths of these 2 alligators? Okay, so that's how they calculate. So they did some sort of simple mental math activity. So they've already measured it for us, so that's great. Now let's go ahead and follow the rules. Let's multiply both of these by 12 and see what happens. Yeah, if you're not sure, just always try and follow it step by step. Now if you were to multiply this by 12, again we have to use what's it called, the column method. So what do we do? So so you can do, so work with the 2's first. So 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15, and 1 times 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. So ignore decimal for now. And now let's do the tens, yeah? So 1 times, so oh, you always put a 0 in first, and I'll multiply everything by 1. So 1 times 5, 1 times 7, 1 times 1. That should give us 175, of course. And then add this all up, you should get 0, 5 plus 5 is 10, carry the 1. 3 plus 7 plus 1 is 11, carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 is 2. Now, to put the decimal in the right place, since we know that the decimal has moved one place across in the whole system, that means it should be one place across here. So it should be 210 centimeters. And if you're not sure, just have a guess, have an estimate. If you did something like 17 times 12 or 18 times 12, you should get a 3-digit answer. Okay, so that's this bit done, 210 centimeters. And the next one, 15 times 12. I'm going to go ahead and just solve this quickly. To do this mentally, you can say 15 times 10 is 150. 15 times 2 is 30. So 150 plus 30 is 180 centimeters. Okay, should have just done it like that. So what is the difference in the estimated lengths of these two? Well, 210 minus 180 is 30 centimeters, guys. Easy. Okay, number 21, guys. So close. We're almost done. Now, what do we have? So Amina is making designs with 2 different shapes. So she decides to give each shape a value. So apparently the first shape has a value 147 and it consists of 2 hexagons, guys, and 3 ice cones. While the other one has a total value of 111, which is 1 hexagon and 3 ice cones. So basically they're the same shape over 1 less hexagon. Now they want us to find the value of both of the shapes. The trick is, basically for these ones, is to realize what is missing on both sides. Well, what we could do is realize that this first shape has everything the second shape has, but plus a hexagon. So we could say that this, if we just replace all of these shapes with 111, we can say that 111 plus the extra hexagon will give us 147. True? That means if we solve this, so in other words, to find this shape, we can just subtract 111. So subtracting 111 will be left with a hexagon value of 36. So 111 plus 36 gives us 147. So that's this one done. Now, to get the triangle, since we know that the hexagon is 36, so let's write 36 here, we can say that, okay, these three triangles are, of course, the same values. So let's just firstly knock out the hexagon for a second, yeah? So we're left with now with three lots of these ice cream cones. If you subtract 36 from 111, what should you get? Ooh, let's just do some quick maths here, because I kind of forget sometimes. So 1 take away 6 you can't do, so borrow from his neighbor, which becomes a 0, and this becomes 11. 11 take away 6 is 5, and then 10 take away 3 is 7. So yeah, so 3 of these equals 75. That means one of these, you divide by 3, will give us 25. That's it, all done. This is kind of like a bit of algebra. You could write this as algebraic equations, but that's it. Okay, 22. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so this is the net of a cube. Okay, so we've got 6 sides over here, so 6 faces of a cube, and the whole system is 20. Meaning, if you think about it, since you've got 4 squares, divide this by 4, and that means each length is 5, 5, 5, and 5. So this is 5. What is the volume of a cube? Well, a cube is basically a perfect square all across, and they all have lengths of 5s. So it's just going to be 5 cubed, which is 125. Done. If you're not sure what I did there, you can just literally draw the cube yourself. It's actually quite an easy problem. Cube has the same length all around, so just 5 times 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5 is 125. Done. Finally, question 23. Whew. We're almost there, guys. Almost there. Good job you reached this far. If you have, give yourself a big fat pat in the back. You did well. Now, let's do this. So, 23. So, a length of a day on Earth is 24 hours. Good. So, important fact right there. Now, check this out. For Mercury, for the same information, Mercury is 58 2/3 times the length of a day on Earth. And that's just for a single day Mercury. Oh, God. So, that's pretty much almost, what was it, 1/6 of a year on Earth is the same as a day for Mercury. Make sense? Now, what is the length of a day on Mercury in hours? Okay, so this is straightforward. This is just telling us that it's 58 2/3 times Earth's 24. So we just multiply that out then. So 58 2/3 times Earth's 24. Now that's what we have to work out, and that will give us our answers. So to work this out, the best way to do this is to do this in parts. Let's do 58 times 24 first. And then do 58, oops, and then do 2/3 of 24. Because you got to work out both of them, yeah? That's it. Now I'm going to do the right side first. To do this one, I always do firstly, you can either do 2 times 24 and then divide it by 3, or divide by 3 and then times 2. I like dividing first because it's easier. So 24 divided by 3 is just 8. 8 times 2 is 16. Okay, so that's it. So that's 16 hours done. Now here comes the main one. What I would do here is just do firstly 58 times 2 and then 58 times 4 separately because it's easier that way. So 58 times 2 or 20. So double 58. Well, double 50 is 100 and double 8 is 16. So it'll be 116 with an extra 0 because it's 20. And next one is 58 times 4. Now 4 is just double 2. So if we know what double 58 was, now we have to double 116. So double 116, well, double 100 is 200, double 10 is 20, and then double 6 is 12. So just add them all up, you should get 232. That means the total result, so 58 times 24 now, it's going to give us, well, 1160 plus 232. This is actually easy to add, since you're not going to go over 9. It's going to be 1392. And finally, add 16 to that. So we're going to now have 1392 plus 16. We're going to have 8, 0. So 9 plus 1 is 10. Carry the 1. 1 plus 3 is 4 and 1. Done. Ah, not bad. Not bad. So yeah, well, guess we're done here. And yeah. I mean, I hope this video helps you guys, and please, you know, if it really helped, give me a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I've got plenty more of these videos on my playlist, so just check the comment section or my description, and you should find everything there. But otherwise, if you guys are preparing for your SATs, I just want to say good luck with it, and of course, all the best on results day when it comes. Anyways, take care, guys, and see you next time. Ciao.